Going. Okay, hello everybody. I'm Bart Wisnowski from Bucket List, and I'm extremely excited because today with us we have the one, the only Mr. Jack Daly. And I had the pleasure of seeing Jack speak for the first time about 3 months ago when he came out to Vancouver. And he gave an unbelievable presentation about sales and building systems and processes within a business to about 100 different business owners. Now, I go to a ton of these presentations, and I have to say that this was one of the most engaging and entertaining presentations that I've seen in a long, long time. And clearly, Jack knows what he's doing. He's been the CEO of a number of organizations. He's won an Entrepreneur of the Year award. He's led sales teams of thousands of people. He was a captain in the Navy. He's a Team USA athlete. Just can't say enough about the guy. He clearly knows what he's doing, and it really showed during his presentation. But the one thing that really caught my eye and sort of piqued my interest in Jack was he referenced the concept of a bucket list a couple of times throughout his presentation. And it seems like the guy's got a lot of things going on. And he's done a lot of things. So I was like, I got to get a hold of this guy. I got to do a quick conversation / interview with him. So Jack, thank you so much for being here. How have you been since I've seen you last, my friend?
So I'm always busy, Bart, but I got to clean one thing up, and that is it's the Army and not the Navy.
Oh, I'm
Otherwise,
sorry.
Army guys would just be really after you.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, hey, I just want you to know that I lead an unbelievable full life. And since I last saw you, I've done an Ironman and 2 marathons, as well as played three of the top 100 golf courses in the world. So besides thousands of air miles and all that.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for being here. Now, one of the things that you did, which I thought was really awesome, is you sent me a copy of your bucket list. And I went through it with a fine-tooth comb. And one of the things you said on your bucket list was, which was already checked off, was that you wanted to climb a notable mountain. Can you let us know what that mountain was and just give us the quick backstory around that?
Yeah. So I'm not a hiker. I'm not a climber, and I've got a massive amount of bucket list items. Right? You've seen it.
Yeah.
So one of them is to run a marathon in all 50 states, and so Colorado was a state that I was missing, and I discovered that they've got this thing called the Pikes Peak Marathon. So Pikes Peak is 14,115 feet above sea level,
Wow.
and marathon, it takes you to the peak, and that's the halfway point, and then you run back down, and it's all on the trail. And I want to tell you that my marathons are usually about, maybe 4 hours in length. This thing was 10 hours.
Wow.
14,115 above sea level. There's no air up there. It was absolutely crazy, but a great life experience.
That's unbelievable. Thank you for sharing that. So one of the things we wanted to do with you is have a conversation about setting goals and achieving things on your bucket list. And, clearly you can run marathons, but if you're a newbie and just starting out, where would somebody start when it comes to setting goals and where do you start if you're brand new to setting goals for yourself?
Yeah, so it's the classic story of how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time. The danger in looking at my goals, and if you wanted to, you could see my goals personally posted on my website at jackdaly.net. And the fact that I post them means that the world has now seen them. I can't go anywhere in the world without somebody holding me accountable. Have you done this? Have you done that? How you doing on this? Those types of questions, which increases the chances and likelihood of me succeeding. So but if you were to look at my goals, they are overwhelming. There's so much there that you would almost be defeated without even trying. So I counsel people, if you're going to get into the goal setting arena, pick just a few, write them down, put a date or some significant marker that's going to cause that to be checked off. I got it done.
Yep.
And then share that list with 2 or 3 people that will hold you accountable. And if you were just to do that, then I think you're on your way. Blocking and tackling the goals, though, I will tell you one of the important factors is identifying the key activities. Mm-hmm. What is it that you need to do in order to make that goal come into reality? If I'm going to do a marathon, it's 26.2 miles, 42K. If I'm going to run 26.2 miles, Well, there's about 3 months worth of training, day in and day out, of activities in order to accomplish that. We just can't do a marathon, and then show up on race day and complete it.
Yeah.
That's the way it works with most everything.
Okay, no, that's great. So inevitably, in my experience, when I've set goals, and I'm sure you've had that as well, is there's always setbacks and something doesn't go the way you planned. What would your advice be on how to handle setbacks, how to look at them, how to sort of put yourself in the right state of mind to sort of overcome these setbacks?
Yeah, so it's one word answer: reset.
Okay.
So we hit the refresh button on the computer. We're going to refresh ourselves, and the refresh is this. I have a goal to do an Ironman on all the continents, and I hadn't done one in the United States, and so I had Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, as my targeted race.
Okay.
And I had a month prior to the race, I got into a bicycle accident, and I broke this elbow, and in fact, I have 6 pins in there for life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that rendered me no go for that race. And Coeur d'Alene was in August, I think, was when the race was supposed to be. So disappointing as can be. My fitness level was really there, but life happens, right?
Yeah.
So reset. All right. Well, what Ironman in the United States is on the schedule after I got back and be healthy? And what I found was one in Tempe, Arizona, in November. And I said, great, we reset it. That's the new goal, and we move on. And Tempe, Arizona got checked off the box.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Now, are there any tools that I guess a new goal setter could use, or any techniques that you would recommend starting off with, something very basic?
Yeah, so there are apps all over the internet to help you with your goal setting and your tracking. And I would recommend kind of exploring some of those.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you that I don't use any of them.
Okay.
And people are shocked by it. But I started the goal setting process when I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it now for 50 years. And I started with a calendar and a pen and a logbook, and it's worked. And
Yeah.
it works every year. And I don't want to change it into an app because it brings me back to my origins and gives me the confidence about what I'm going to take on now is applicable going forward.
Yeah. Cool. Now, no, that's awesome. Now, looking at your bucket list, there's an unbelievable amount of both professional things, athletic things, and then family and a bunch of other variety. How do you sort of determine the best balance, and how do you make sure that all areas of your life are equally balanced or balanced well enough?
Wow, how was the world created, and do that in about 2 minutes or less? It's a big, big question.
Yeah.
At different stages of our lives, I think you approach it differently.
Mm-hmm.
At the stage of life that I'm at, I have to be very careful about protecting my personal goals.
Okay.
Because I'm in the speaking business, and the demand for my services would eat up the entire year if I let it get away.
Yep.
So what my wife and I do is we decide what are going to be the really important things that we want to do on our personal goals for next year,
Mm-hmm.
and we lock those dates in before we sell the rest of our year in our business.
Okay.
So protecting the personal becomes very important to us. For example, I have 2 grandchildren that are 2 and 6, and they live on the opposite side of the country. If I don't budget the time for them a year in advance on when I'm going to see them and where,
Mm-hmm.
then life will take over, and all of a sudden I'm a grandpop that they don't know. So I've got to protect my personal side, and then I recognize that I also need to spend time working on my client business as well. So I figure out how many days that I'm going to give to my clients during the year, and we blend it together, and poof, it happens. There is a summary of what happened last year on my website, and it's called a year in review. And I would recommend people to take a look at it because it's amazing how close reality came to what the goal setting was. But it was all involved in the process, and you'll see the balance there as well.
That's awesome. I have one last question for you. What's next on your bucket list, and how are you preparing for it? What's the next item that you're going to be crossing off?
So an Ironman on all of the continents, and I have one left to do, and that's Malaysia in September.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that we're already booked. We're registered, and it's just a matter of the calendar flipping over, and we'll be there. And I have 2 Ironmans that I'm doing racing in June as preparation, so that I'll be ready in September. I'll be in Australia in June doing one, and another one in Atlantic City, New Jersey. But let me add one more to the list. You asked for one. I'm going to give you a second one.
No problem.
And I'm excited about it. I'm also running a marathon in all the continents, and I will have my continents completed next February when I race Antarctica.
Wow. With a hat and parka, everything.
Some people, Bart, actually race it in snowshoes.
Wow.
Yep.
Amazing. Well, Jack, you are an inspiration. I want to take a second to thank you for being so generous with your time. We know you're a very busy guy. If you want more information, we do encourage you guys to go to jackdaly.net. We'll put the information down below. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to put them down below. And Jack, we'll give you a last word here.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the last word, because my last word is about you guys at bucketlist.org, and that is this, that once I met you in Vancouver a couple months ago, I immediately went to your website, and it's a treasure trove. I'm adding more and more things to my list because I'm going, oh, that sounded pretty cool, and that sounded pretty cool, and look at that, and you guys even have photos and all that up there. I'm like the dog salivating over fresh meat. So I just encourage people to get a list and share the list. And it's amazing how many people will come out of the woodwork to help you fulfill the items on your list.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate the time. Until next time, my friend.
You bet. Thanks, Bart.